Hey, how's it going? It is the 3rd of October 2020. I'm just in the Christchurch inner city right now, going to head into do a bit of filming in Cathedral Square, where they have speeches on today. These speeches started in May, right after we got out of lockdown, the first hard lockdown, and they've been held every Saturday since then, which is about a little bit over 4 months now. So that's pretty impressive, actually, considering how politically apathetic Christchurch was for quite a long time before that. I've talked about the Cathedral Square speeches on my podcast when they first started up back in May, June. But it's kind of an eclectic group of people from across the political spectrum. You've got people from what would be called the left in New Zealand, some from the right, but pretty much all of them have abandoned traditional left and right positions because the establishment, left and right, have both become so corrupt. They don't really stand for anything anymore. And that's a worldwide thing, obviously. You know, in 2016 we saw in the US big populist movements. You had Bernie Sanders, the left populist candidate, and Donald Trump, the right populist candidate. Trump obviously ended up becoming president, but it was all about a big rejection of the establishment. You know, people were completely over the establishment and they rejected it, and that was the main message, you know, of it. And I actually followed the 2016 election quite closely. I was particularly interested in the Bernie Sanders campaign in the first half of 2016. Eventually I even wrote a book of poetry about it, if you can believe that. Anyone who's interested can find an electronic copy of that on my website, livesonnet.org. But yeah, with the Cathedral Square speeches, they've been mostly ignored by the mainstream media. I heard there was a couple of snarky remarks on mainstream talk radio about them being some sort of fringy or alt-right kind of deal. That's not really accurate. In general, left versus right is not a very informative lens for understanding politics in 2020. It's more about, these days, populism against predatory elites. And it's a worldwide phenomenon. You know, in New Zealand we've got the Auckland elites. They've controlled our central government since 1984, and over that time they've made things more unequal, more corrupt, and sold us out to offshore interests. And in France you've got Macron, and you know, it's everywhere. They're pushing for an elitist style of politics. I call it a Marie Antoinette style politics, you know, where they're supposed to be this privileged class that's above the law, and they can basically just do whatever they want, and the general population are peasants, essentially, who have no rights and just have to work and obey, or else they're put in prison. But we're seeing a big populist pushback against this in many places. You know, you've got the yellow vests in France, and you saw Brexit happen in the UK, and in the US in 2016 the populists took the White House. And what we see right now in the US is obviously the predatory elites going all out to crush the populist movement. You know, Democrats are doing this mail-in ballots thing, which obviously opens the potential for fraud. And then this week Facebook comes out and says, now you're not allowed to post anything about election fraud. I mean, they're making it pretty obvious at this stage, you know, what's going on. And we already know from 2016 that Facebook and Google and big tech were in the tank for Hillary and for the Democrats. You know, there was the thing about Google altering the search results to make Hillary look better, and so on. So, yeah, the Christchurch, you know, the Cathedral Square speeches, it's really just the Christchurch version of the worldwide populist movement. So it's a positive thing as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I mean, I don't know the regulars who speak there that well. I know one activist, Adam, another guy, Nate, a bit, and a few others to, you know, to say hello to, but I haven't really spoken to them that much. I've heard them speak. Do I agree with everything that they say? No. I don't need to. You know, it's a discussion, and it's a town square. And, you know, for a long time, Christchurch didn't have any real town square activity. There was a big hollow where the civic engagement should have been. And now people are coming back to the town square. So that's a good thing. But anyway, I'll be filming a little bit in there, and so you can make up your own mind what you think about these disreputable characters. Alright, some kind of event going on over here. I don't know what it is exactly. That's me for now.